Space, the final frontier.
This is the podcast of State of the Federation.
Its ongoing mission.
To preview strange new ships.
To seek out new builds and new combinations.
To boldly go where no fleet has gone before.
Citizens of the Federation, and welcome back to another episode of State of the Federation. My name's Tucker, and with me today are my co-hosts Robert and Joseph. How you guys doing?
Well, now that the 2018 MLB season is over, I cannot tell you how excited I am to wait for 2019 to see how the San Francisco Giants do.
I know, I'm so excited with the Red Sox being 5-1 and at the top of their division and all.
It was a great year. It was a great year by all.
That's a fool's happiness, Tucker, and you know
that. Look, you want to talk about a fool's happiness, I would say second place is a fool's happiness. The Sox won 5 straight.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy. That's the difference. Giancarlo Stanton already has, 3 home runs? It's, the only hope was that he couldn't hit American League pitching. He can.
Well, you know what? You know who else can hit American League pitching? Mike Trout. Mike Trout can hit American League pitching. Doesn't help the Angels much.
Well, okay. You know what? I will let the unfolding of this season speak more eloquently than I ever could.
We just really missed baseball, you guys. That's really what's going on here. Okay, anyway.
I still miss baseball. What are you talking about?
Well, okay.
2019, that's
so
where it's at.
2 of us missed baseball, and apparently one of us missed the poor excuse for baseball that seems to be going on in the National League in San Francisco.
Which is weird because Robert's a lifelong athletics fan, so I don't know why he's.
Yeah.
He's
so I
worried
talked about the DH is where it's at. Why no team would have a DH is beyond me.
You know we literally have recordings of you saying the opposite of that, right?
No one is going to take the time to go find them.
Well, now that you've said it, somebody definitely is. All right. So we got to get started because we got 2 whole packs to go through today, and boy, is there a lot to say about some of those cards. And we all probably know which one I mean, but we're going to go through the other ones first because they deserve our time and attention.
But first, we'll get to that in just a moment, folks. But first,
yes. But first, we're going to start off with the Dominion card pack for the 4th Wing Patrol Ship. And so, starting off with the named ship itself, we have a 4th Wing Patrol Ship, 3233, Tech Weapon Crew, 16 points. I'm going all out of order here. Federation Dominion action bar of evade target lock scan battle stations. Text is, after this ship performs a target lock action, target a friendly Jem'Hadar attack ship within range 1. The target ship may perform a target lock action as a free action. So, as the resident spoonhead here, Robert, convince me this is good enough.
It's not. The Jem'Hadar ships just don't work, period. It does. If this ability was on a different ship, maybe. There's also the issue of cloaking. So with cloaking potentially making its reappearance in the game, and I know there's a card in here that deals with cloaking and target locks, this still is not a good ship. And the problem is with this ship, the lack of reverse arc and the 3-hole 3 shields. And Joseph can tell you one of the worst games I ever played against him was a couple weeks ago when I tried the Dominion out, and I was just completely frustrated. And it was not a good experience.
Joseph, tell us about that, because that sounds hilarious.
Well, what the problem that it essentially, the crux of the issue, I suppose, is that yes, there is an upgrade that allows for um, target locking cloak ships, but you have to use it at the activation phase, at the beginning of the activation phase, and then it's discarded. So that turn, all I have to do is flee, right? And then that's it. If he doesn't end up in range 3 of my ships, then it, he's not target locking anything.
Yeah, and or they go completely defensive. They take battle stations for defense that turn, right? And there's just so many other things that they can do. Now, I'm going to spoil this now, but I think the Dominion are probably the most interesting single faction in the game now because of how much synergy that exists within the faction itself. But I don't think that they're competitive at any level. You can pick out a card or two potentially, but I think as a whole, because the backbone of the faction are these attack ships, it just doesn't work.
So I completely agree with you, Robert, except I need to make a minor adjustment, which is in between best and or most interesting or best or whatever the hell you said and faction. You need to add cloaked mine targets.
No, those are the Ferengi cloaked Burrells, or the Klingon cloak ships, right? Because
because they can stay at range 2 and not lose like 50% of their abilities.
Oh right, yeah, that's so frustrating too with the design. I don't know why WizKids decided the Klingons get range 1 to 2 on every ability, and the Jem'Hadar get range 1 on every ability.
Because the Jem'Hadar lack honor. The Dominion lacks honor. That is their greatest weakness. Worf.
Yeah. Hey, so I got some really good news. That's absolutely not related to this, but I landed an expert witness that said that my case is right up his alley. He does a huge volume of a type of case that I'm working on. And
That's cool.
I think that's probably some of the best news I've had in a long, long time.
That is good. No, it's not.
And his hourly rates are reasonable.
I can think of at least one piece of better news that you told us in private that I don't know if you're ready to share yet. So we won't. But Robert has big news and he'll share it at some point.
At some point. Yeah. Let's just say it relates to my foot size.
Way too much information. Okay, anyway. So
let me finish one final thing, and I know it's not completely on target with the Jem'Hadar attack ships, or this pack specifically, but I do find it interesting that the attack ships are generally survivable. One thing Joseph, I think, found pretty impressive is that once you start upgrading those defense dice, they can start rolling 4 defense dice, and that tends to be enough to get them to survive 1, if not 2 attacks. And so they are survivable, but it's...
I feel like can survive maybe 2 attacks is not a great standard of survivability.
Well, if it's worth 20 points, that is an amazing.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Right. Go ahead.
One of the players in my local OPs has been flying a swarm of these as well, and really jacking up the defense dice, and they're hard to kill. I was able to emerge victorious due to my peerless flying, but I could only kill one of his ships.
Okay, so let's talk. By the way, the generic version of this is 3-2-3-2 and 13 points with attack, weapon, crew, because that's basically what you're going to see in the swarm, right? Is primarily
no,
the
I
generics.
disagree.
Yeah, because these are completely outclassed by the Burrells, who have the rear arc, the option to cloak. They just don't have battle stations.
Yeah.
They have an extra attack dice.
But I think where they do better is that the combined 6 health on the named, so if you run the 4th, the 2nd, the 6th, that 6 health combined to the 5 health in the generics, that 1 additional point of difference, I think makes it enough to make it a little bit more survivable.
And they're jacking up their defense dice, usually.
And they're jacking up, yeah, one of them is at least. And they're all sort of at least, this is what makes it fun. They all sort of trigger off each other at range 1. Thank you, WizKids.
I guess it's just it to me that just looks like an incentive to fly poorly.
It is. Yeah, and that's the problem. Range 1 to 2 makes them much more interesting, but it is what it is. So,
All right.
I think for both of these cards, for the name ship and the generic, super fun thematics. I love what they're doing with the Dominion in a non-competitive sense. In a competitive sense, you cannot try to build around them. I think it's a fool's errand.
Yeah, agreed. Though I like the 2 techs. You know what? This game, well, no, because it needs other Jem'Hadar ships. That's why it's not
Yeah,
a storm ship.
exactly. And that would even, if it was even, friendly Dominion ships, right? Then I can run Galors or something and combine it with some other ships for synergy, but I can't run other Jem'Hadar attack ships.
There you have it, folks. These ships make people want to run Galors.
Wish they could run Galors.
That's gross. All right, so speaking of Cardassians, let's talk about Gold Damar. He is a 7-skill, 5-point captain with an elite talent slot, unique, obviously. His ability says, range 1 to 2, after the ship performs a maneuver, place 2 time tokens on this card and target up to 2 friendly Jem'Hadar attack ships. Place an evade token beside the ship. The target ships may perform an action on their action bar as a free action. Joseph, assuming I had a gun to your head and you had to choose one, would you rather run this or the old Damar?
I would rather run the old Damar in anything but a bug swarm, because this is part of what makes those bug swarm ships so hard to kill, right?
I mean,
it's giving them all a free evade action. So, I mean, you can use it for whatever you want, right? But
well, do you use it for evade or do you use it for battle stations?
Well, I guess the idea is you use it for one, and then the ship's action is the other, right? And then as soon as they start rolling, 3 or 4 dice, that battle station really helps on defense, and the evade obviously does, right? So I don't hate this Gold Damar.
So, okay, Robert, can you give some of those rhetorical questions, answers? Because I don't run a bug swarm and I don't know how they work.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because what you're running in here is Tamalatakan.
Ramatacon?
No, not Ramatacon. The one that gives battle stations.
Oh, Duranidar?
No, he's the one that eats up the oxes. Talakatan, I think it is.
Oh, Talaktalan.
Yeah, Talaktalan. So you're running Talaktalan with Shroud, you're running Gold Damar, and you're running the 4th. That means your ships have battle stations, evades, scans, and target locks for all of their attacks. So you maxed out your entire bar with those cards. And that's pretty impressive, especially if you can get something to boost up those attack dice, which we'll see in here. Rolling 4 to 5 attack dice with scans and battle stations and target locks can really decimate an opposing fleet. But still don't run bug swarms.
There you go. Well, okay, why not? Why not run bug swarms? Because that's the ultimate point we're going to return to.
The arc. The 90-degree arc. The lack of survivability that it takes on.
I don't think they do have a lack of survivability.
I think 2 good shots takes, like a Lurin's Bird of Prey and a Ferengi Burrell sitting next to it, I think they take down 1.
If I have 4 defense dice and a battle station token and an evade token and then a co-pilot evade token, I don't know about that.
Yeah, what about Cloaked Mines?
Cloaked Mines is a reason.
They don't mind Cloaked Mines, right? Because they're not cloaking. I think Cloaked Mines are a bigger risk to Burrells than they are to these types of ships.
I agree they're worse for Burrells, but I don't think they're good for these.
Well, that's also why you have Minesweeper. God awful card.
Well, that's how the Dominion would answer it. Send some Jem'Hadar and dislodge that. Send some more kids down to dislodge it. It's too big to be human.
No, you just run DNA encoded messages with one of your captains.
I think that we've hit on it, and there's 3 answers why you don't run a bug bugs were cloak mines, the arcs, and the damage output isn't high enough.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll put the fourth one. They work well in synergy, which means once you start taking away that synergy,
It snowballs.
it snowballs.
Yeah, I agree. All right,
Sorry, one final thing. Goldemar actually, going back to the thematic scene, he is actually probably one of the best. This version of Goldemar is probably one of the best captains for the Dominion.
He's not even drunk.
yeah, I was just thinking that.
I know. That's when he's at his best.
He misses him deeply. You misjudge him. He misses him deeply.
Oh man, I love Demar. He's one of my favorite characters.
I think he was just a bad Ducat replacement, but whatever.
No, he had such moral growth through the series, and he has some of the best lines.
Sure. Anyway,
When he misses Wayun.
moving on. Speaking of Vorta, we've got the Vorta Commander. It is a generic captain. I still like these. Anyway, we got 5 skill, 3 points. After the ship performs a green maneuver, this ship may perform a target lock action as a free action. Robert, why is this not as good as most of the board captains?
Because I'm running Fourth Wing Patrol Ship, which is giving out target locks as free actions already. So what this is doing is replacing the effect of what I'm already doing with some of my other ships.
Also cloaking.
Also cloaking.
Okay, Joseph, where would you ever use this?
I wouldn't, but okay. Here's my best case scenario. If this had a captain skill of 9 or 10, and cost 7 points, would you run it then?
No, I'd run
Yes.
Picard.
No, because we're running female Q.
Oh, yeah, okay, so if it had a captain skill of 10, yes. But, please understand that female Q has probably one of the most solitarily worst abilities in the game, and she sees play because she's skill 10.
Right.
Hey, Tucker,
What?
what's her ability?
Action, add a shield, it has to be the first one destroyed, and it goes away at the end of the turn. So it's action, place an evade token.
That's right.
What up? You thought I wouldn't know.
Brad, here's my slow clap for you. Slow clap.
But so my point is that at captain skill 5, having to do a green maneuver and expecting to get a target lock is, I think, deliberately bad, right? Like, they knew what they were doing. They didn't want these guys to be too good.
Mm-hmm.
At a higher captain skill, it would be great. Actually, I think it's an excellent free action.
All right.
So,
you know what?
okay,
Let's talk combos. Let's talk combos.
Well, that's where I was driving toward.
Okay.
So this and comm station gives you that captain skill potentially.
I was going a different route. But.
Yeah, I think maybe Robert and I are thinking along parallel lines. What's the name of that card that's you can only go on a battleship and gives you a bunch more green maneuvers?
Oh no, that one actually is terrible because this already has 2 green banks, so you'd only be getting a 3 forward. No, I'm thinking Romulan Pilot gives you an additional green maneuver. The Ferengi Grand Nagus gives you additional green maneuvers. So those 2 came to my mind immediately. Is how to generate green maneuvers. Lexit, the Romulan who says, or the Klingon who says, if you perform a red maneuver, perform a green maneuver instead.
Romulan Pilot, I kind of like.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
But it's just once, right? That's and then that's 6 points almost certainly because you're paying a faction penalty on 1, and then you're right, that is Picard and stuff.
So I'm curious, Robert. What do you mean by you already have 2 green banks? Which ship are you talking about?
The Jem'Hadar attack ships.
You don't. No, I'm saying do it on a battle cruiser or something.
Oh. Yeah. A 5 is such a weird captain skill these days. I don't know. It's actually outside of the con arguments and seeing Picard. I don't know what the second tier of captain skills is going to be in competitive play because we saw quite a few Hudsons. We're seeing Kolos out there.
I mean, we've got Kolo, we've got Kor, we've got Jarok, we've got enough 6 skills that 5 has to be really good.
Well, Damon Solak is out there, so he's a 4. And I think, yeah, 5's a weird number now. I think 5 is like the old 7, where if you're 7, you're kind of worried you're in the middle pack, and you don't know how it's going to play out, and I think that's kind of 5 now. Joseph, any thoughts on that?
I play female Q with Riker, and if you play a captain skill less than that, you're a pig.
Yeah, but what about the rest of your community? Because we know you play wrong.
You know what? Lower than 13. That's why I play 13.
Okay, and on that note, let's talk about another card that Joseph really enjoys playing, which is Ilum Garrick. 1 point, all of 1 point, and he says, when attacking, if the defending ship shares a faction with this ship or this card, 1 hit or crit cannot be cancelled. Joseph, what card is all over the friggin' meta that makes this really good?
What? Captured.
Yes.
No, I was thinking 1764.
What?
Well, you want to be... If you use the 1764 with captured, then you've got, what? Dominion,
4.
Independent, which means Ferengi and Zindi, right? And Mirror and Fed.
And guess what one ship is super defensive these days?
The Sutherland?
The Sutherland.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's actually... Well, it's tough because you need it on something with some attack, I guess, right? Well, no, you need it on a 3 attack dice ship, right?
Yeah.
Because the Sutherland...
Oh, right, you're right, because you don't even boost up the attack. You just roll 3 dice and they're just taking 1 hit.
Well, the Sutherland using shield adaptation can still take 2 dice away from you.
Yeah, but... right, but you still need to roll that 1 hit.
That's what I mean. So you need at least 3 attack dice. But that's
You
a
know,
lot.
I just got an idea, and we'll get to it with a later card. But I do want to keep us moving because there's a lot to talk about still to come. So
Tucker
let's.
got an idea.
I did get an idea.
Nasty, rotten, devilish idea. Okay.
What?
Let's
Are
keep
you
going.
trying to do the Grinch?
You're a mean one.
No,
Mr.
it's
Grinch.
then the Grinch had an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch had a wonderful, awful idea. Seriously, how do you
so
not
glad
know
we're
that?
doing this in April. Okay, so
Right.
Garrick. Oh, the other thing is he becomes 2 points, right? Because you're never running him on a Dominion ship.
I mean, you could
Yeah.
run him with Hudson, and then he'd be 1 point again.
Yeah, potentially.
I like him. I wish he didn't have the faction thing. It costs more. To tell you the truth, actually.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I would definitely put this on? 608. A captured 608.
Man, I don't know if just independent alone is enough.
Borg, Independent, and Dominion is not enough because it doesn't get you fed.
That's true. Anyway, but let's keep going because there's some other interesting stuff in here. Among the things that are not is Changeling Infiltrator. Activation phase. Target a crew upgrade equipped to an opposing ship. This card becomes a copy of the target crew upgrade this game round. 4 points, unique. Robert, guess what 1 word makes me not like this card?
Odo?
No, what 1 word on the card?
Oh, opposing.
Yes. Tell me why.
Because you are playing your opponent's fleet, and you can never build your fleet trying to guess what your opponent is going to play.
Yay! You got it! I'm sorry, that sounded incredibly patronizing. I really apologize. That was not my intention.
It's absolutely true. And yeah, it's any card in this game period, or any card in any game period that you are electing to rely on what your opponent plays is a bad card.
Joseph, explain to everybody else even more why I continue to be right.
Now that was patronizing.
I don't know that.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that.
So, becoming a copy is a little interesting because I don't. It's not stealing. Like it's not copying the text. It's becoming a copy of the card, right? So I don't know. There'd be some interesting. I just think that's ripe for some interesting.
Literally, the only thing I can think of it doing is making you discard unique copies of your own stuff.
Yeah, which is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted like 2 evade Rikers or 2 Sulus or something.
You couldn't get it because you discard that.
Oh, you're
other
right. 'Cause
copy.
well, so when do we test? When do we test for unique cards? Only in the
Okay.
Gathering Forces phase, right?
No, we test for them constantly. That's why you can't steal something unique and it.
Oh no, you can steal something unique.
No.
You can steal something unique.
You won't get to keep both copies, will you?
Yeah, there's a war ruling.
Is it okay? Wait, but isn't there a Wharf ruling that says if it couldn't be deployed on your ship, then it gets discarded,
If it exceeds the restrictions.
such as uniqueness?
That's not the. That's not the. I guess you could argue that, but there is a wharf ruling saying that if you steal a unique thing,
Oh,
you can.
well, that's
But this-
interesting.
But I think this would discard because
It's not stealing.
it's a copy.
But I don't think we test for copies outside of the Gather Forces phase.
What I'm saying is if
Because
you
wouldn't
have-
Odo ever always?
no, because he
discard?
just copies the text, but he
Oh,
stays.
interesting.
This becomes
Okay.
a copy of the crew. So if you could conceivably use this to copy a card and then somehow with a future card deploy it to your opponent's ship, you could make him discard one of them and then he'd still be able to use the other one.
No, Odo copies exactly. So during the planning phase, you may target a ship within
All
range
right.
1 to 3 and choose
Robert?
a. Yeah.
If I have a plasma pulse, let's say, on a ship,
Mm-hmm.
can I move another one onto the same ship with a shuttle?
Oh well, okay. I think one on a ship might be a different test than unique, and maybe that's a horrible argument.
That's a horrible argument.
However, Odo says, let me finish Odo though, it says, if you do so, treat this as an exact copy of a chosen upgrade.
So maybe he'd do it too. So it's not even that. It doesn't even have It doesn't even have unique language. So it's.
Right. The action one is how you both remember him, but the non-action one is actually treated as an exact copy. So that would be really interesting to bring up in Nationals and Worlds, because we do see quite a bit of copying reroll Worf with Odo and copying of Drexus and Garens with Odo.
Yeah, but we don't see it on the same ship, so it doesn't matter.
No, because Worf is unique.
Oh, right, fleet-wide unique. Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
who cares?
As a TO, I would rule that you could have both. But I think at Worlds, if you really want to bring it up as a point, it would be something that's difficult to say is not an issue.
Okay, so that actually, let's talk about this later, because that actually possibly throws a monkey wrench into my idea. But let's talk about Seskal. He's a reprint from a blind booster. He's 4 points. He says combat phase. If all the ship's shields have been destroyed, disable this card. This ship rolls +2 attack dice this game round. This guy is not as bad as he sounds.
At 4 points, he is. If they reduce his cost, it would be much, much better.
What do you think, Joseph?
This is a rare example of the new templating being a little worse than the old templating.
How so?
Well, you can disable this card to gain +2 attack dice makes sense. Disabling this card and then having text that says roll to +2 attack dice feels like it should do nothing. But obviously it does exactly what the old one did.
Oh.
I don't think it's terrible. I think it's overpriced though.
That's a navigational deflector issue.
Yeah.
If we see fleets with more ships in them, then he gets better, right?
If we see ships with, because you can use him more times.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
I think if you see ships with more hull on them, like I think he's great for the Borg.
You know what? He's not. I've seen that tried, but even as the Borg, I mean, so the only time back in the days the Borg you really wanted to run with all your shields down was when you were just stacking a blade of hull armor on top of a blade of hull armor, and you can't do that anymore. So
it's destroyed too. It's not even disabled. It's if your shields have been destroyed.
right, exactly.
This is, I guess, the argument about why he's bad. Virtually every ship has a weapon slot, and tactical station costs the same amount.
Oh, that's a really good point.
That I didn't even
And
think about
tactical
that.
station replaces itself anyway. So.
And you know what? I didn't even think about this, but when I say he's been really good, I was thinking he was a amazing card on the blind ship he came on. Like, the ability for your blind ship to just suddenly turn into a nuke was really cool.
Yeah, but that's.
I was just gonna say I don't think I'd. Anyway, but speaking of other cards, I don't think I'd ever run. Let's talk about Victory is Life. It's an elite talent. Range 1, combat phase, discard this card, target this ship, and target all friendly Dominion ships. Place a battle station's target besides all target ships. All target ships roll +1 attack die this game round. Joseph, in what world should this cost 6 points?
Much like in Magic, where the design team always thinks that White Weenie is just one more card away from being something. If Jem'Hadar attack swarms were one card away from being something, this would do it, because an extra attack die and battle stations for everything would be good. If they were good, then they'd be great with this.
But they're not, so it's not.
Correct. Yet, for now. But we just need one more good knight that has double strike and gives lifelink, and
don't be trash talking my wife.
they'll
Hey.
be on their way.
Hey, Robert.
Yeah.
Give a rebuttal that does not include the cards. That does not include the phrase, "I'm sure a good attack ship will be coming out any day now."
Blockade.
Well, he did what you asked him to.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair. I'll take that.
So things I like about the card is it frees up your other ships to do actions, which is good. Talking about the defensive nature of this, if you run it with Telakatan, then your ship will have 2 battle stations each. So you have one for defense and one for offense, which is good. If your ships are maximized for attack using the weapon in here, which I'm blanking on right now. Which one is it? Where is it in here? It was in this pack, isn't it? Where's that weapon?
The tactical command
yeah.
reticle.
Reticle, yeah.
Reticule.
Reticle, yeah. If you're using that with blockade and this, that means you're rolling 6 attack dice with each of your ships, which is not something to, throw away. But the problem is it becomes very alpha strikey, and you're trying to get all of these range 1 ships flying together in a very tight formation to organize an alpha strike. And if you don't, it's essentially game over.
Yeah, but if you do get them lined up, the game's also over.
Right, exactly. Yeah, can you imagine, I think, and the best way to fly these is 3 of these and then the cruiser behind it, right? And the cruiser's getting +1 off of this too, so your cruiser's throwing 6 dice. And just 4 ships, it's 6 dice with battle stations and scans and target locks and evades. Man, double battle stations, that's going to do damage.
The only thing that beats a battle station is a double battle station.
And a scan and an evade and a target lock.
Also good.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of tactical command reticule, let's talk about it. Add 1 weapon slot to the ship's upgrade bar. Combat phase, place 2 time tokens on this card. The ship rolls +1 attack die this game round. It's a weapon, 2 points, Dominion only. Has the exact same problem as Seskull, hilariously. Joseph, why is this better than Type 8 Phaser Array or Tactical Station?
Well, it can go with Type 8 Phaser Array, which is something that non-Federation ships haven't really had access to cheaply. So I don't necessarily think they're competing. It is. Why is it better than Tactical Station? Nothing is better than Tactical Station. But this is half a Tactical Station for half the points. I mean, I think it's good. I certainly don't think it's bad. The circle is Dominion ship, right? Not Dominion captain.
Yes.
So the baseline for this card to be good is for there to be 1 good Dominion ship. If there's a Dominion ship worth flying, you could staple this to it.
Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, I think that this makes the battle cruiser a lot better.
It makes a Keldon really interesting.
Keldon's throwing 6 dice. It works. With secondary weapons.
It works with second Borg Galler with magnetic guided charges.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's one.
That's kind of nice.
I mean, we're already seeing what are they called? The Daredex is used for that because of their.
The same weapon, essentially.
Yeah, wow. Mag charges this and tactical stations can use 6 die attack.
Yeah. Actually,
many points.
Tactical Station and Captain's Chair get you a 5 dice mag charge every turn.
Well, this has 2 time tokens, so it wouldn't be every turn.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one thing I kind of... Oh, so Joseph, if this was 3 points without the time tokens, is it a better card?
Yes.
It's a way better card. What are you talking about?
For one reason.
Which is? Yeah,
that's true. Anyway, speaking about weapons that are 3 points, let's talk about Phase Polaron Beam.
Hey, great card. Let's move on.
Now, look, here's the deal. Before I go into the card, there was somebody at the unofficial regional who did good but not great flying a fleet built around these. So I think it's worth talking about briefly. Okay, Phase Polaron Beam. 3-point weapon, as I said, 3 attack dice, range 1 to 2, forward arc only, Jem'Hadar attack ship only, which of course is redundant, and says, disable this card, this attack ignores the target ship's shields, this ship may convert 1 battle stations into 1 hit. Okay, Robert, why did you want to skip this?
Okay, what does Victory's Life give you?
Battle stations token and an attack die.
What does Telakatan give you?
Battle stations token.
Okay, what does Goldemar do? He gives you a free action to take a what? A battle station. Why?
Well, an evade, I would argue, but okay.
He takes an evade, but the ships he targets take a free action off their action bar.
Yeah, and they have 2 actions. So even
they have 2 actions.
They take an evade and then take a battle station. There. Yeah.
Right. So what is the Dominion fleet never short on?
Evades.
That's exactly it, Joseph.
Terrible ships. Terrible captains. Terrible crew.
Lack of honor. Battle stations.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, they have no battle station. They have no lack of obtaining battle stations. So I don't. The only way I see this being valuable is if it's doing that red come about, and then you're making this as a second attack, and you need that quality.
Well, it does ignore shields as part of it too.
Right, but it's 3 dice, and if someone's running cloak ships out there, this card you just wasted 3 points.
That is certainly true.
And that was actually what brought down Chris, who ran that fleet in the unofficial regional.
Yeah, he made it to the finals table for his group, so he was up against Tristan. And Chris made some very poor decisions in that game, unfortunately.
Well, I don't think it would have helped too much, though.
4. Sorry, continue. I just have an idea. Okay, I'm going to say my idea, which is this: 4 Jem'Hadar bugs with phase Polaron beam, with Garrick cloning facility, and Odo and the Changeling Infiltrator copying Elam Garrick. They can kill a Sutherland in one turn.
You know what laughs at that fleet? Is a scimitar.
Okay, so, actually, on that note, let's talk about cloning facility. There's a reason for this segue. Cloning facility is a 4-point tech. It's 1 per ship, range 1, activation phase. Target a Dominion crew upgrade equipped to this ship or a friendly ship. This card becomes a copy of the target Dominion crew upgrade this game round. Okay, you ready?
Whatever unique card you copy will cause both to be discarded.
If that's not the case, which is why I was a little disappointed by that conversation earlier, here's what you can do. You can have a swarm of ships with 1 copy of Elam Garrick and everybody else having this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all within range 1 of at least 1 other ship. So the first one copies Elam Garrick. Now it's a copy of Elam Garrick. So the second one targets the cloning facility that's now a copy of Elam Garrick.
No, I'm on board. I like it. So you can just create a chain.
You can create a huge fleet of Elam Garricks, and if that's on, I don't know, a swarm of Mirandas or something.
No, we need
No,
3. We need 3 attack dice.
Do we? If they can't be canceled?
How
The
about
dice,
this?
The dice could be reduced. The hits can't be canceled.
That's
How
true.
about this? How about Elam Garrick with phased Polaron beams?
Stop. Robert, keep going.
No.
No,
Because-
sorry,
no,
Joseph,
because-
keep going. So where do we get... Okay, a swarm of Mirandas with Type 8 phaser array.
Well, okay. Here's my point.
No, they don't have techs. A swarm of Novas with Type 8 phaser array. No, they don't have weapons. Damn it!
Okay, so let me go back to my point, because it is somewhat valid and somewhat interesting. If you run phase Polaron beam in the Elam Garrick, you do 1 damage to their hull.
If you roll the hit.
But well, you're rolling 2 dice with phase Polaron beam because it's a
If
secondary
you're
weapon.
attacking a Dominion ship only.
Yeah.
So what's the Federation ship? We need to pursue this.
Okay.
So
Let me
it's-
pull up Utopia. I'm going to sort by Federation ships from cost.
What's
So
the
the
NX?
original phase Polaron beams, by the way, can be assigned to a non Dominion ship at +5. So they cost 11.
Okay.
That is a spicy meatball.
That is.
Okay. So hang on.
It's
Okay, we
Hathaway.
had.
It's constellations, isn't it?
It's okay. So we could have the Oberth class if we can find a way to get a weapon slot on it.
I think it's constellations or constitutions.
I'm looking.
No,
Oh.
you know what it is?
And
Surox. Surox.
Surox are. Yeah.
What's the NX? Generic NX? Does it have a weapon slot?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
of
does.
course.
It's weapon crew, but it doesn't have tech.
No, man, those Surox, those have what, 9 health?
Miranda is weapon crew. Nova. Okay, so Nova is 2232 with tech weapon crew for 18.
Yeah, but the Surox has a 180 arc.
Is the Surok tech weapon crew?
I'm
I
looking.
think so.
Hang on. Okay, Chris, if you're listening, Vulcan's ships still don't show up when you search for Federation ships. Just saying.
No.
All right, so I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna add in Bajorans as well. Who
What
knows?
What have you done for us lately, Chris? Well, he did do the auto builder.
That's true.
He did do
That's
the
not
auto builder.
enough.
He did do the
Oh,
auto builder
sh-
last week.
Oh my God! Guess what Federation ship is tech weapon, and the unique one is tech weapon crew.
Oh my god, tell me it's an interceptor.
It's the Interceptor. 2330.
Oh, so, okay, so speaking of which,
I'm not.
The Bajoran Interceptor.
Oh,
yeah,
I thought we
so,
were serious.
so this
There-
is what I want for a faction pack, by the way.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about this. I want a DS9 faction pack, which is the Defiant, a Runabout, an Interceptor, and the Ratasha.
No, I refuse. What's the other interceptor besides? Oh, I see what I did. Hang on.
Oh wow, the Sirocs don't actually come with a weapon slot.
No, they
Oh,
don't.
I was just
You're
checking.
thinking of combat vessel refit.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joseph, what about this? Okay, what if my unique is Interceptor 8?
We need 4 of them. They have to be generic.
Yeah,
Oh.
generic, because you only need the crew slot on one of them. Everything else could just be tech weapon.
Oh man, that's. Let me open up my Bajoran tab for the second time in my life.
Okay, I might actually build this real quick. Hang on. And I'm gonna put captured on it too, because that will they're all gonna be captured, because that
The
gets
extra
us
faction.
yeah, it gets the extra faction. And if you're rolling +1 attack die against a 3-hull ship, who the hell cares? You're gonna die anyway.
Now this kills the Sutherland in a turn, except we have to roll hits.
But you're rolling 2 dice, and the card itself gives you a battle
Three.
station.
Three dice.
You're rolling 1 dice.
No,
You're
it's a
rolling one
secondary weapon. It's a secondary weapon against shield adaptation, so it's 2 dice.
What? What are you
What's the
talking
second?
about?
Type A
Pol-
phaser.
phase Polaron.
We're not using phase Polaron beams.
Well, that's where you guys are going wrong.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
Is
sure.
off the rails in Robert's mind now.
Okay.
Next card, Tucker.
No,
You're rolling 1 die. That's what you're rolling.
Yeah.
that's true.
But you should be able to get with, because you're only rolling 1 die and you get 1 battle station conversion, you can take the target lock instead. So all you have to do on 2 rolls is
What?
land 1 battle
Where are you
station.
getting the battle station conversion?
Oh god dang it. In my dream world where this is the phase Polaron beams.
You.
All right, wait,
Look.
Joseph. What if they all also had tactical station?
I was just thinking that actually.
All right, we're gonna experiment with this later, and it's probably gonna relate.
I would argue actually use the Telakaton to give everybody battle stations instead.
Because
or maybe nuke the card.
No, just no.
No, because that's cheaper than giving everything tactical stations. Because I think what Joseph's point is. in all
No.
this-
I'd rather, because that lets you get multiple shots. Like that might get you as many as like 3 hits, and they have to cancel a whole bunch of stuff. And okay, you know what? We have spent enough time on this insane plan. We are going to build a cloning facility fleet. We will test it. We will get back to you. Maybe if it's good enough, we'll even showcase a game with it.
It's,
Um,
the only thing left is what will happen, but we know what will happen, even under ideal circumstances, which is that you kill the Sutherland and then their other ship destroys.
Well, no. What happens under utterly ideal circumstances is maybe you kill the Sutherland, and then your entire fleet immediately dies to cloak mines.
Yeah.
No. The ideal situation is you kill their Sutherland and they storm off in a rage quit.
Well, you do have.
That's actually true.
You do have the moral high ground.
That's correct. Okay. All right, now that we've talked enough about this insane plan, let's talk about the last card in this pack, which is Anti-Proton Blast. Activation phase. Discard this card, target this ship, and target all friendly ships. It's range 1. It's a 2-point attack, by the way. The target ships can target opposing ships with a cloak token beside them with a target lock action this game round. Joseph, you're the Romulan fan. Explain to everybody why this isn't even close to good enough.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, but if all the Dominion ships are in range 1 of each other and thinking about, like, target locks might be good the next turn, then you're just bugging out. And Centrac going out of range 3, ideally, and then that's the end of
Bugging
the-
out. I see what you did there.
Yeah, unintentionally, I'm afraid. And if they're separated, then you don't have to worry about it, right? It's the range 1 that makes it easier to predict when they're going to want to do it.
Something like that. Okay.
Can I talk about how awesome this card is?
No, because it's not. But go ahead.
No, it is. It's awesome for one thing and one thing only: the new Fed torpedoes. And the reason I like it for those is even if your cloak ships do try to get out of the arc, I would probably be running lower captain skills, so I just preserve those target locks. And the Feds are usually running things like after torpedo bay, after torpedo launcher. You're running it with ships that have reverse arc. I think that there's a lot of ways that if you just get the target lock and hold onto the target lock, you don't necessarily have to use it that round. You're going to use it in the future.
True. And actually, I just had a bit of an idea, which I'm not going to share. So that tells you it's a good one.
All right.
But yeah, because just to finalize it, the thing that made torpedoes difficult to use was the inability to target cloak ships. This gets around that easier than things like the new Captain Data, Shanti, Indiana Troy, or other more difficult things.
You know what I just realized, you guys, in this insane cloning facility build,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't even put captains on there.
Captains are for the weak.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, if there's we could easily put a captain on there that would resolve our quality problem, and then one die could be a guaranteed hit.
So you're saying they're all going to be border commanders?
Don't they have
I was
those,
thinking about that.
like those, but they're Hirigen?
What are they? Hirigen Alpha or something?
Oh yeah.
Or
Yeah. What do you convert? You convert a blank. No. Yeah, you convert a blank primary attack to a hit.
Done. There.
there.
So,
Okay.
take battle stations, and that's your hit.
Yeah, and you know what? Capture does away with the faction penalty on that. And it's a 6 die. It beats Colo.
What? Captured. What else is
Okay.
independent?
Hirogen.
The Hirogen.
And what else?
Nothing. It's just you take captured for the extra faction in this insane plan.
Oh, right.
And because, you're... So, by the way, I've changed the flagship because I realized that the flagship doesn't need... The one that Ilum Garrick is on doesn't need a tech slot and only needs weapon crew. So you know what he's on now? NX-01.
Yeah. Nice.
That's good.
To help keep him alive. Then we can add Interceptor 8, and we can add Interceptor 5, because it's the same price as a generic. Oh my god, what am I doing with my life?
Only good things. Only good things, Tucker.
Actually, hang on. How many tech dice does an Oberth have? 2.
It has 3.
It has 2.
The generic. Wow.
Oh no, we want tech weapon, not tech crew. Tech weapon.
Yeah, but you take shield out of no. Shield
No.
out is...
No, that's not. And it.
Sakona gives you a weapon on 1.
So maybe you take 1 Oberth.
Ahab Picard gives you a weapon on another. Hudson
Yeah,
gives
but
you
you
a weapon on a 3rd.
No, you're not going to use those because you want the Alpha Hirogen. Because it's super important to get that 1 die.
Right. Well, no, because Ahab Picard...
Alright, why are we still talking about this
No.
fleet? We'll
Ahab
figure...
Picard gets you the 1 crit.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's true.
This
So
fleet... Okay, we need to... We have a whole other pack to talk about, and we're almost an hour into this episode.
I'm so amazed at how interesting the Jeffadar attack ship has been.
Would just like to talk to Robert's earlier point about how a scimitar would beat this fleet, as though I can't kill scimitars whenever I want to.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
Let's move
that's
on.
true. Alright, so, final evaluation. Do you buy this pack? I say you buy 1. Maybe multiples of cloning facility swarms are a thing.
No, Dominion are so fun and factiony now. Absolutely, you buy 1.
Joseph, would you like to offer a
Unless
sane
you're
man's
Joseph, you're gonna
perspective?
play a fun game.
I'm gonna buy one for anti-proton blast.
Are you serious?
I had a good.
Yeah, that's a good card.
I had a really good idea.
So,
Okay.
just to follow up, Joseph and I have been playing. We've been running the Enterprise E with the new torpedoes, and if the Enterprise E can line up a cloak ship with one shot, it's pretty devastating.
Yes, that's true. But it doesn't.
6 hits, guaranteed 6 hits.
It doesn't need that anti-proton blast, though.
No, it doesn't. But I'm just saying that the Fed photon torpedoes, if you're building around Fed photon torpedo ships,
Right now, everything can become an Enterprise E.
exactly.
I see what you're saying. And yeah, that's true. So there you have it. Let's hammer out this Gorn pack, because I think there might be some cards we want to talk about.
Okay. Let me press the right combination of buttons to... Aha! I've made it switch. Okay. So, let's look at some... today, we're going to talk about some lizard folk.
Okay, we're running out of time. I'm tired. Let's move on from terrible puns.
This is a Gorn ship. There's going to be a lot of them.
Yeah, what you talking about, Tucker?
Oh boy.
I'm not going to tell you. Anyway, so we've got the Grisrill. It's a 18-point independent Gorn Raider, 3134 stat line, respectable. Modify attack die step, disable one shield on the ship, cancel one hit or crit. It's got the Federation style action bar, evade, target lock, scan battle stations, and tech weapon crew. Okay, Robert, I don't know, what do you think?
I think if I was going to run Disruptor Bombardment, this is the ship that I use.
Okay.
I don't know what Fleet 3134 is respectable in, but that's my...
It's okay.
That's essentially your Hathaways.
No.
Oh,
The Hathaways get upgraded phasers.
yeah.
Well, you would know, right? Well, okay.
And a 180 arc and a
So you're
free
saying-
action.
So your statement is predicated on...
And
many
don't
other-
automatically take damage from ships with capture. Oh, besides independent. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, I like the bar.
Yes. Okay. So 3134 is not respectable. I was trying to be nice. Okay.
There's some other ship I recently saw that had the same ability, and I think the ability is interesting.
What, the
But-
Bellerophon?
Yeah. So the Bellerophon with shield adaptation, system upgrades, and Unimatrix shielding.
Yeah, I've played against Seville that did that.
I mean,
It's
but
pretty good.
at that point, why are you just not using the Equinox?
Because you're
Because you
getting
have
forward tag dice.
self-respect.
I like Joseph's answer better. Alright, generic is 3133 at 14 points. Not as good as a Brel. Moving on. Lar. So, he's a captain, and he counts as a Gorn captain.
Hang on, I want to back up to that for a second.
Ugh, fine.
The Gorn Starship is a 3133. Yeah, I guess it's getting one more shield, because the Dominion Bug is 13 points instead of 14. And they're flipping the shield for an evade die. I guess
Also,
that's about right.
okay, whatever.
Is their dial the same?
Yeah, no, the Bug has a better dial, because the 3s are not red, they're white.
Hey, Tyler, if you're listening to this, do us a favor and include the maneuver card. Next time.
Well, all real people use Chris's Utopia.
Well, we're broadcasting, dude. We're
Oh, good point.
broadcasting Tyler's picture.
Yeah, I don't know,
So-
just an interesting comparison, those two ships. So,
Yeah, by the way, thanks for taking the pictures, Tyler. It's a big help.
okay, Captain, go for it.
Okay, Captain, Lar. He counts as Gorn Captain, which is a continuing source of frustration to me because Slar isn't. Anyway, at the end of the deal damage step, spend the ship's target lock token. Oh, he's 7 skill,
Tucker.
5 points, has an elite talent.
Pause, stop. You're breaking out. You're breaking in and out.
Oh, for crying out loud. Is this better?
Just
He
take,
wasn't-
yeah,
he
just take it.
It wasn't for me.
No, it was for me. I heard that static in the background. Just take it from the top of Lar.
All right, Lar, whatever. He's 7 skill, 5 point, elite talent, independent captain, unique. He's apparently counts as a Gorn captain, which is frustrating because Slar doesn't. At the end of the deal damage step, spend the ship's target lock token, choose 1 face down damage card on the defending ship, flip it face up, and resolve its effect. Okay, can I get on my soapbox for a little bit? Because there's a reason this card is frustrating to me.
I think of the streets of New York and those card games that people are playing. Whenever you watch a movie or a detective show, that's the I'm a hustler, but I'm a good hustler, and I'm going to work with the cops.
That's what Lar.
What?
Yeah, because I'm trying to hustle. Which one is my direct damage critical?
Oh yeah,
Like,
right.
let me.
Yeah. So that actually is exactly what my issue is manipulation of cards that are face down. Because it's now important, because if I'm watching carefully, I can track and see what's the stunned helmsman that I'm flipping up every single turn, right? That's really important. So does my opponent have the right to move them around? Who knows?
I wonder if there's an X-Wing rule, because they had this ability in X-Wing, and then they also had an ability where you could search for stunned pilot and give that crit to the ship.
Wow.
So
Wow.
That
seems good.
Getting that. Well, you had to assign it as like a whatever they were called. It took a lot of setup. So, but in any event, it was something that could happen instead of being a corner case, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't. I mean, it was good, but it didn't, as far as I know, take over the game.
Well, could you recur it?
Yeah, because you just use this.
No, I mean in X-Wing.
Yeah, they had a TIE fighter that had this ship's ability exactly,
Oh.
and then they had Kylo Ren actually could assign that stunned pilot crit.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
So he'd
How did they
assign
finally
that.
get a Radad?
It wasn't good enough. It didn't. It was. Oh,
No.
maybe it did get an errata. It didn't. It was good. It was good, not great. I mean, it's more with Kylo
Probably
Ren's
too many points as well for TIE Fighter.
Kylo Ren's ability was not just like put this on. He had to shoot, and there was some stuff he had to do. But he's
Oh, so he actually had to land the crit.
no, because it could go through shields, I believe. But yeah, so I guess he had to land it and then assign it, and then it got assigned. But anyway,
That's pretty hard.
I wonder if they have. I just wonder if they have tournament rules about hiding cards. Because man, I would. You're right. I would do that street hustle thing.
Mm-hmm. And like it's super frustrating that that's an issue. You know.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's a corner case, though, right?
And I don't think Lar's going to see competitive play.
I mean,
Right,
I
'cause
guess.
Tucker, this sort of goes back to one of the themes you always mention, is a win more. If I'm dealing crits, if my client has a crit on their ship,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe it's not a maybe if I'm running the other card that we'll talk about at the end of this,
Well,
that makes
no,
more
yeah.
sense.
If you can put damage on a ship's hull without spending a target lock, mind you, you don't need to be resolving crits that much, right?
Gee, I wonder how we could do that. Hey
Well,
guys,
clearly it's suicide attack.
will you stop? Let's keep let's keep. Oh my God! I just had the best idea. No,
Keep the train moving.
no. Okay, I just found the piece that makes this entire stupid cloning facility fleet work. Okay? You're not even ready. You're not even ready.
No. I am
Okay.
sitting down though.
Okay. Do you want to hear it? Do you want to hear it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's how it is. The fleet is the NX, Interceptor 8, Interceptor 6, and a generic Interceptor, right? NX has Ilum Garrick, and it also has Sakona and Aft Phase Cannon, because why would you not? And enhanced hull plating because it's free, right? And then the Interceptors have cloning facility, and then all 4 ships have Alpha Hirogen, Captured, Tactical Station, Type 8 Phase Array, and, are you ready for it? I stab at thee.
You're gonna kill your own ship. That's the only problem.
No, you swarm in and you're careful, right? And here's the ridiculous thing. Okay, is I stab at thee an attack? Remind me. No. Okay, that's cool. But like, so because this is my solution, Joseph, to their other ship just kills your ships. Well, 2 could play at that game.
That's true.
And remember, right? If my I stab at these ships all kill each other, then all their I stab at these go off, and if I activate that ability and I have the only ships left, I win.
You don't even
Or
need
if there's no ships. Yeah, you don't
That's
even
my
have
point.
ships left.
That's my point. If there are no ships left, and I activated I stab at thee, even if I killed all of my other ships by doing it, I still win.
Yeah. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that you began selling this by saying, 1, you swarm all in, and 2, you be careful, which...
So,
not
Tucker,
Joseph,
what's
are
your
you saying
fastest speed?
are you saying, Joseph, that you're not good enough at the game to swarm carefully?
Obviously, I'm not saying that.
I
What
have
is-
you
what
now.
is your fastest maneuver on those ships?
6.
3
Oh,
banks.
yeah.
Keep it
That's
tight.
that's kind of sad.
No,
no
because
room,
your
no
tactics
room
have
for
cloning facility.
yeah, no room for Chemosite. But
Go
every,
with 3
I,
forwards, buddy.
but they have no red maneuvers.
They don't have 4 forwards?
No.
I'm not flying those ships.
Oh boy. Look,
Okay.
it might not.
Carry us forward.
It might not go like David's Interceptor 8 versus Bioship Omega fight. That might not happen. You don't know.
So, Gorn Commander.
No, Gorn. No. Gorn Captain.
Gorn Captain.
Because he counts as a Gorn Captain, unlike Gorn Commander. He's generic, interestingly enough. 4 skill, 3-point captain, comes with a talent slot. Action, disable this card and target an opposing ship. Disable the captain equipped to the target ship, range 1. Who?
Range 1.
Yeah. I'm looking at the card.
Oh wow, that's not on. Utopia doesn't have that range 1 limitation on here.
That's why we use the cards instead of Utopia.
How dare you talk poorly about Chris?
Yeah, Tucker. Jesus.
Hey, remember, Chris has collaborators. Maybe it was one of them.
It probably was. They always hold them back.
Tucker.
What?
Nothing.
Call it.
What?
Apologize to Chris.
Sorry, Chris.
That's right.
So, Gorn Commander, or Vorta Commander, 3 costs, 5 skill, no talent slot. Gorn Captain, 3 costs, 4 skill, talent slot.
What is
The talent slot is worth a captain?
What is?
Is worth a captain's skill?
I think it's worth more. What does Gorn Commander do though? That's the.
Gorn Commander is it's either convert a battle stations to a hit or convert a blank to a hit. I forget.
So
Well,
let's convert a.
Convert a blank to a hit. Why am I using Alpha Hirogen in this stupid fleet? Gorn Commander's straight up better.
yeah. Well, he's cheaper.
He's cheaper, and that's what you care about.
Gorn Commander doesn't have a talent slot?
He
No,
does
I was
actually.
talking about Borda Commander.
Oh, 'cause-
Florida.
Because Gorn Commander's unique. That's why you can't use him. I mean, you can use him in one of
Yeah,
them. And
no,
put
I was
him on
just
the
I was
NX.
just curious why Borda Commander did not get a talent slot, but Born Captain did get a talent slot.
Because the Gorn's more talented.
Apparently so. What does Vortis do for anybody?
This ability is not good. Because, well, it's range 1, which is quite limiting, but it happens at Captain Skill 4. So let's say you manage to get range 1, and you disable my Captain Picard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just re-enable him on my turn and get my free battle stations to boot, and my Captain Skill is preserved for combat phase.
Also known as nobody runs Admiral Kirk 8. Or that's
Well, that is
that's
true.
an upgrade. Never mind, but same idea.
Yeah. I don't necessarily dislike disabling a captain at a lower captain skill because it does mess with their economy. So maybe not Picard, but disabling.
Hey, you know what messes?
Colo
You know
is
what
pretty
messes with
significant.
economy, Robert? Is action disable cards, like this one.
Well, but yeah, but you have planned for it, right?
That
You
is cutting
developed
off.
your
That
plan.
is cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Ding.
Okay.
Sorry.
Someone got it.
You are affecting their economy. There's no question. But is that worth an action in your captain? That's the question.
Well, captain skills 4, so I mean, how much are you really losing? I guess it's also one time.
That's what I
effect,
mean.
and
This is your captain on one of your pressure ships.
I guess really the better component is that Deanna Troy's.
Hey, let's talk about a relevant card because there's one coming up. Oh, look, it's Slar. For those who don't know, who don't remember, this is the guy from Enemy Are Darkly. The CGI Gorn that worked with the Tholians for some reason that wasn't adequately explained. Anyway, Slar is a 5-point crew, range 1, unique, that says, action, remove this card from play and target an opposing ship, disable 1 crew upgrade, equipped to the target ship, and deal 1 critical damage to the target ship's hull. Okay, Joseph, why is this card amazing?
Well, it's putting a crit directly to the hull, which, under the right circumstances, can just destroy the ship.
Or render it completely useless for the rest of the game.
That too. And certainly is not going to be bad. There's no criticals that are good. Let's put it that way. And you're getting a crew disable to boot. So
Robert, why is the remove from this card from play limitation effectively meaningless?
Because we're using the Ferengi Pack Bio Mimetic Gel to copy him, and we just lose the Biomimetic Gel token rather than losing Slar. And then you back up Slar with Gaval, so in case Biomimetic Gel causes him to be discarded, you just Gaval to keep him around in the game.
And since you're on a Ferengi ship anyway, why not use Gold Press Latinum to save Biomimetic Gel in case it ever gets discarded?
yeah, and then there's Odo added into the mix as well. So
And what about cloning facility? Does that that has to be
Dominion
Dark.
only, yeah.
this it's a lot of work, but you're definitely getting direct hull damage. If there was another cheap way to just get damage onto a ship's hull, I'd be worried. But this on its own doesn't have me too worried.
Hey, Joseph, Matt
Suicide
Deckard...
attack.
Jesus Christ, Robert. Matt Deckard exists. Are you still worried?
Well, I think it would take one more, because he's really
Suicide
just
attack.
this again. He's just this.
You mean like some way to automatically damage an opponent's
Suicide
ship
attack.
sometime into the game?
Well,
Suicide
or
attack.
at the beginning of the game.
Or at the beginning of... Yeah, well, that would just ruin everything.
Suicide
Will you stop?
attack.
Hey, look, it's Gorn Trooper. It's a 2-point non-unique crew upgrade that says for each Gorn trooper. Also, can we just appreciate that every single Gorn, aside from Slar, in this pack is the same Gorn, but they're pretending they're different?
Wow, you can't tell. These are different Gorn. You can't tell them apart.
That's racist.
That's really racist.
I'm not even going to touch that.
That's really racist.
Are you really going to say that about me?
Gorn Trooper. For each Gorn Trooper equipped to this ship, increase the...
I read the cards! For each Gorn Trooper equipped to this ship, increase the captain skill of the captain equipped to the ship by 1. When attacking, disable this card, reroll 1 attack die, 2 points. Robert, why is this never going to be good enough to see play?
I am messaging Chris because there's a spelling error in Utopia, so Joseph, take it away.
Well, it doesn't presumably actually do what it says. There is a Worf ruling that each Gorn Trooper actually just increases the captain skill by 1 instead of feeding off of each other, right?
Well, even if you had 2, rule of 3 would kick in, so you'd only have +3, so it's only even marginally better than doing that.
That's right. That's true. And
You're talking about the Romulan security officer ruling, right?
We've had this card in the game for most of its history.
Not is later, but yeah, we've had something. Had something similar.
What did it come in? The Hakona?
Yeah, that's pretty late.
Robert.
It was wave 11.
Yeah.
God, is that it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Back in, I think, 2015?
Is it really?
It's almost 3 years old, I believe. Let me double check. Isn't that horrifying? We are on year 5 of this game, gentlemen.
I think the problem with this card, it's interesting with something like Gen Con, or if you're just finding a way to get that +1 that's not an Admiral. But I agree to really gain the benefit of like the rule of +3. It's kind of difficult to execute, to use those 3 crew slots to make it happen.
Hakona wasn't Wave 11. Wave 11 was Prototype 01.
What was Hakona? The Wave 13?
I'm looking. 12. So, not only was it 2015, it was March of 2015. So it is over 3 years old.
Wow. The Hakona's over 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That really makes you think.
Well, you know why it stands out?
Because we were waiting so long for the Scimitar and Enterprise E to come.
Do you? They came before the Hakona.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what the other 2 ships in the wave were?
The Bioship Alpha.
The Ogla.
Alpha Hydrogen.
No, that's Wave 11. The other 2 ships in the wave were the Ogla Razik and the Tholia 1 Retail.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember all the controversy around the Tholian retail. How, oh my god, it's the first retail of a prize ship.
And what everybody
it wasn't
forgot,
exactly the prize ship.
What everybody forgot was, well, first of all, that prize ship sucked, and then they added like 2 more cards that also sucked.
Well, it was when people were complaining that wave was bad, and then.
Oh hey, speaking of reprints from prize ships, it's Gorn Pilot. Trivia. This is the 3rd time this card has been printed. Additional trivia. It still sucks. Let's move on.
Well, might as well read it. Just go for completionist sake.
That's a point more than Chemisate, for God's sake.
Do we have to? Fine, 3-point crew
guess not
unique
now.
action. If the ship performed a straight maneuver this game around, disable this card, perform a 1 straight. Everything about this card is terrible. Just run anything else. Romulan Pilot, Chemisite, Ion Thrusters. Jadzia Dax is almost better.
It's a little bit better because you get to move your base and then move it again. Actually, it's kind of interesting
Robert?
with
Robert?
Martok.
Robert?
Yeah.
What maneuver length is a base equal to?
What?
Well, it's one. No, but I'm talking about...
Right?
I'm
so
saying-
how far forward does it move you?
2.
And Chemocyte adds...
A number that may or may not equal 2, depending your theory of mathematics.
That's what I thought. Let's talk about Gorn Hegemony, because this card actually has some
Although,
potential.
let me go back to this. Interesting with Martok.
Why are we still talking about this card? Also, no, it's not. Just use Forest or Federation Helmsman.
Or Martok.
Ugh.
Okay, continue.
Gorn Hegemony. It may only be equipped to Slack or a Gorn Captain, which Slar's not. Go home, Slar. No one likes you. It's a 4-point unique talent. It is not unique, but it can only go on a Gorn Raider. And it says, action, discard this card and treat the captain skill of the captain equipped to the ship as 0 this game around. This ship may make 2 attacks instead of 1 this game around. So, Joseph, what's one of our favorite characters from the original series that this card is hilarious with because it's poorly worded?
Khan. Kirk.
Romulan Commander.
Romulan Commander.
Exactly what I was going with.
Yeah, because his skill's 0, but he still attacks before anybody else.
That's right. I also
Two
think
axes.
that. But he's not one of those Gorns.
That's right.
But I do think that essential dynamic. You still, whatever your captain's skill is, you get to maneuver in the activation phase. And then you perform your action, and your captain's skill becomes 0 for the combat phase. So if you can maneuver to the point where you have an attack on them and they don't have an attack on you, then there's no cost. There's no downside, rather, to using this. So I think it has. I think it's just good in that way. And then the other way is, it's 2 attacks. It's not 2 attacks with your primary weapon.
It's 2 attacks.
It also works well with Colo, because if you have Colo out there, you don't care what your captain's skill is, necessarily.
That's true. So we're going to skip the next card from now. We'll have some things to say about it. And meanwhile, talk about Disruptor Bombardment, or as I like to call it, Super Saiyan Red Shirt. That joke's not funny because you're not looking at the images.
I am. He's Super
No,
Saiyan
I know
level.
exactly which.
He's going blue. They're only blue recently.
Yeah, so he's Super Saiyan, God Super Saiyan.
He's
Red
got
shirt.
Ultra Instinct. Who knew? Who knew?
Man.
They're playing it.
Can I just point out we're making Dragon Ball Z super jokes about a Star Trek miniatures game? Like, did we win an award for nerdiest comments of the year or something?
We
The
try.
chicks love it.
They do.
That's why we do the show. Take us through the card, Doctor.
Alright, it's a 1 per ship, weapon, 2 points, can only go on a Gordon Raider, and can only be fired out of a forward firing... Do Gordon Raiders have rear arcs?
No.
That's what I thought. So, once again, that's redundant. And it says, attack. Place 3 time tokens on this card, place a mission token within range 1 to 2, and target all opposing ships within range 1 of the mission token. Make a separate attack roll against each target ship. The attack cannot be obstructed by obstacles or planets. Discard the mission token after this attack is made. In Star Trek Online, we call this Cannon Scatter Volley. Robert, if I recall correctly, you're very fond of the Weapon Zero card that works in a somewhat similar way. So take us through this.
These cards allow you to tap outside of range 3, which is always an interesting combination that people may not necessarily like. And I just enjoy the dynamic of placing the mission token and then getting the additional range and arc from that mission token. That's why I generally like them.
Just outside of range 3, right?
It's whatever the mission token is minus 1 millimeter.
Did Robert break up for anyone other than me?
Nope, I still heard him fine.
What did, if you could repeat that?
He said,
I
he
just
said,
without 1 millimeter, right? It's just 1 millimeter of the mission token has to be within range 3 or range 2.
Yeah,
So
so,
you're
it's
getting-
about a mission token beyond range 3 you can attack, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like half an additional, so it's like range 3.5 or something.
No, range 3 1/10.
Yeah, and the other thing, not only so the range is the one thing, also the arc is another because you're getting a much wider arc.
Oh,
than
I
your
thought
90-degree arc.
I was reading objective token in my head this whole time.
That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
That would be
Oh,
sweet.
man.
Oh, you know why? It's because the Zimby one does use an objective token.
No, does it?
Yeah, I think so.
Prototype weapon? Really?
Let me look.
So this is interesting.
Go away, prototypes 1 and 2. Nobody cares about you. It's a mission token. Wow, I've been playing that wrong for years.
That's awesome, Tucker. You should just use a planet token instead.
Jeez. This goes with Gorn Hegemony to give you Balana's codes to give you 4 attacks.
Yeah. So you attack all their ships within range 1 of the mission token twice, essentially.
Outside of range 3, let's be clear.
Potentially.
So that's good.
I feel like you don't mean that.
Ship.
4 attacks against every ship?
Well, I meant in the sense that, like, it's not good for the game or something.
Oh. 4
Well, so
attacks.
if Kolo's out there on the Sutherland, right, it's just throwing lots of 3 dice with not much quality.
4 dice, first of all.
Also,
well, 3 because I have shield adaptation.
all right. So listen, if I put masking circuitry on my Gorn Raider and Crew Wharf and Drex, I need a slot for Balana's coat. So Hudson would work because it doesn't need a Gorn. No, I do need. Damn it, for Gorn Hegemony. Yeah.
Hegemony with Hudson.
I'm short 1 slot. I feel like there's a way to do that. Maintenance crew.
Put Lore on there instead of a Gorn captain.
Yes, that would work because he gives you a crew slot. Very good. So, by the way, Lore can't use this off of Gorn Raider, but he can use it. I'm opening a
Wait,
new.
you can use it on a Gorn Raider.
That's what I'm saying. He can't use it off of a Gorn Raider. He can't use it on any ship besides a Gorn Raider. Okay, so I'm gonna build this real quick. Hang on. It has to be on the Gresserill, but because I don't think there's another Gorn ship that has the right slots. Let me look. Maybe there's one. They all suck, so who cares?
Okay. Well, while he's doing that, enhanced durability, tech, cost 4. Add 1 tech upgrade. Add 1 tech to this ship's upgrade bar. Increase the ship's shields and agility values by 1.
I read Zikos! Anyway. No, it's, I guess it's okay. I feel like agility isn't worth 2 points anymore.
Right, I think that's a big thing. In the old days, this card had a net neutral value because you're getting that additional shield and agility. A 3. Go ahead, Joseph.
I think a point of it's interesting, and it certainly has some utility. Wait, do these ships have 3? Yeah, they do have 3 hull. I was gonna say for shuttles, but never mind. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I was gonna run a Gorn ship, I'd run this. The question is whether I'm gonna run a Gorn ship or not.
It's slot neutral, which is also nice.
Yeah, exactly.
So Crew Wharf.
3, 2, 3, 5.
Crew Wharf that converts all blanks to hits is Klingon only, and that's very upsetting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this enhanced durability just depends on if Gorn ships become playable. This becomes very playable.
I guess.
So let's see. So are we taking it on? It would be on the generic. So the generic becomes a 3, 2, 3, 4.
Why couldn't we take it on the name?
Well, I mean,
Named
because if we're
abilities
running multiples, are we trying to run a swarm of these, or are we just trying to run one? As
No,
a
we're just
support
trying. We're
ship?
just trying to run one. I think. I mean, we do something maybe with Disruptor Bombardment, which is really Disruptor Bombardment, Gorn Hegemony, and Balanis Codes, which I think is about the only reason I'd want to run Gorn.
A 3-2-3-5 for 22 points. So 8 durability for 22 points.
For 22 points, I can get a Vorcha, Robert.
But that doesn't have 8 durability. I mean,
It
no,
does. It does, Robert.
No, it has 7.
Oh, okay, it has 7, and that's only assuming I don't decide to. No, this is not good. Not by itself, not as a swarm. Anyway, Gorn sensors. Sorry. Once per ship, Gorn Radar only. When the ship attacks with its primary weapon at range 1, ranged combat bonuses are doubled. When it attacks with a weapon upgrade at range 1, apply ranged combat bonuses. Tech 3 points. Joseph, how do you feel about this?
Gorn Raider only.
I said that.
I don't know what the weapon would be that you would abuse with it.
Yeah. Neither do I, honestly. Maybe
Because
Well,
photon.
go on a Gorn ship.
When the ship attacks, does Disruptor Bombardment, the ships being in range 1 of the token, is this what they were intending to do?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's an interesting ruling.
Oh God, Disruptor Bombardment. No. We can't let that floodgate loose. That's gonna cause way too many headaches.
That is pretty good, because now Disruptor Bombardment is 5.
I don't know. I don't know that I think that that's what's going on. Though actually, you know what you could do? There's nothing stopping you. Here's where it definitely would work. If you put your Gorn Raider within range 1 of a whole bunch of ships, and I'm not saying they'd be Jem'Hadar attack ships, well, who the hell else is going to clump up like that? And you know what you could do is you could put it right next to your ship. There's no reason the mission token has to be all the way out there.
Right.
So you could just dive bomb your Gorn Raider into the middle of things and then just, set up a I stab at these size blast.
There you go. So that's an interesting bit of work.
Yeah. Hell, you could run a stab at thee.
Oh, I think you.
Yeah, we're talking about a 50-point Gorn ship at this stage.
You know what though? Actually, maybe you could run this as a swarm. How about a swarm of 19-point Gorn Raiders with Disruptor Bombardment and Gorn Sensors?
You know what I really need, Tucker?
What?
I need a drink.
You always... Oh, God. Alright. Robert, just leave the segues to me, okay? Let's talk about Mirador, which is Gorn Ale. Which is a definition helpfully provided in the name of the card. So, it is a question mark upgrade, 2 points, 1 per ship, unique. It says this upgrade may be equipped to a ship without requiring an upgrade slot. Activation, 3 time tokens. Decrease the captain skill of the captain equipped to this ship by up to 2 this game round. And then increase this ship's primary weapon value by the same amount this game round. Okay, first things first. Robert, why is independent ship only a totally meaningless restriction?
Captured.
Yes.
So this, with Gorn, Hegemony, and I guess you don't even need anything else.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a little bit of punch to this Gorn ship.
That was a terrible pun.
It wasn't even a pun.
Yes, it was.
Well, it
Well,
was
an unintentional pun.
Men of my stature don't make puns. God damn it.
Yeah, that's because it's been shown.
Question because you made one.
That's no. That's true. Men of your stature don't make puns. That's because puns have been shown to show strong correlation with intelligence.
That was a long way to go for that joke, Tucker.
I'm taking it.
Well, you know
Tucker,
what?
I applaud.
You know what? I'm going to take that route every time.
So this would put your captain skill already would be 0 because of Gorn hegemony. This is changing your primary weapon value, so it's both attacks. So that's 2 5-dice attacks.
And here's the question, which Steven has sort of come out and said that weapon values don't change after the game starts, which is ludicrous. But if that's not the case, this could also increase things like torpedo fusillade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Photon torpedoes.
Yeah.
We really need some more rulings.
We really do. I agree.
Yeah, I think that's, now that you mentioned that one is pretty important.
Okay, so here's one other thing I really like about this. I am very, very, very fond of getting 0 captain skill. This is now the easiest way to do it in the game.
Is it?
Yeah, captured plus this will get you a 0 captain skill on any ship that needs it, and it's slotless.
But no, my issue is that the captains probably have already assigned order before this card triggers.
Nope. That is incorrect. This card triggers at the beginning of the activation phase, and card order is never assigned. This is an incredibly important quirk of the rulebook that everyone overlooks. Order is... I only know about this because of some Borg Queen shenanigans. Order is never assigned. Instead, after each ship activates in the activation phase, or each ship fires in the combat phase, the game checks for the next highest, or lowest in the case of the activation phase, captain skill that has not yet activated or shot, respectively. At no point is a list ever set.
Right. That's true, but captain skill only changes between phases. And that was reaffirmed in one of the new Wharf rulings. It wasn't mentioned in the new rule book, but it was reaffirmed in one of the new rulings. So I assume it definitely is still relevant.
Man, I wish there was a way to take an action in the combat phase then.
In the planning phase.
No, in the combat phase for Gorn Hegemony. So you could get 2 attacks and not change your skill.
Is there not?
To take an action? No.
No, that doesn't exist.
Not any action.
Not an elite talent, yeah. Okay.
AO itself it's pretty powerful. Especially if I'm playing against Joseph where captain skill doesn't matter to me.
No, this is a super powerful card. Nobody's arguing that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find other ways to use it.
I don't think we really I don't think we've highlighted how powerful. I don't think we have given its due as its power level. And I think, Joseph, is it a powerful card in your mind?
Yeah, I think it's very powerful.
And remember, it can go on any ship for 3 points because it's slotless and so is captured.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, why am I bothering with that? I stab at these. I should just put Gorn Ale on all those damn interceptors. Anyway,
it's an interesting card. I think the 3 time tokens hinder it.
Well, sure. It's for alpha strikes.
Yeah. I just don't know how good alpha strikes are.
Well,
but man,
let's talk about the most alpha of all strikes.
So the very last card in all of the packs, the one you've all been waiting to hear about.
Hidden Explosives. It is a 3-point unique weapon, and it says, setup, target an opposing ship, place a Hidden Explosives token on the target ship, and place 4 time tokens on this card. LOLOL. When there are no more time tokens on this card, you must discard this card. Roll 3 attack dice that cannot be re-rolled or modified. All hit and crit... Oh, that's weird. They don't use a plural like they usually do. All hit and crit deal damage to the target ship's hull. Discard the Hidden Explosives token after the attack is made. Okay. So a couple technicalities about this. First of all, the reason they use the token, aside from remembering what ship it's on, is that since the token gets discarded after the attack is made, you can't recur this with something like Balana's Codes to make it happen twice. But what you can do with Balana's Codes is, Joseph...
make it happen as soon as the game starts.
Yes.
No waiting 4 rounds.
Nope. Do not pass setup, do not collect shield tokens. I mean,
So,
I think...
Tucker, some people may argue that Balana's Codes does not actually activate in the setup phase.
Okay, that's stupid because this card does. Like, that's like saying... This card says target an opposing ship. I mean, what are you trying to pull? Are you trying to say that I can target ships before they're on the board? Like,
well, this card specifically gives me an ability to activate during the setup.
That's
Like Hudson gives me a specific ability that activates during gathering forces by providing additional slots.
But he doesn't say
So
gather forces.
okay. So where in the game, where in the rulebook does it say I can't activate a game ability during setup?
Well, because setup is not the start of the game.
I mean, do we need to get into an argument about what the word game means?
Well, no, that's specifically in the rulebook.
Why can Sakona and Hudson use their abilities before this time without saying set up or gather forces, and Balana's Codes could not?
Because those cards are designed to work.
Julian
in those phases.
Bashir,
Which one? There's lots of them.
the reroll one.
What about him?
He doesn't work as written. I mean, he does now, but he didn't work as written. So are you arguing that...
Clarified that. So
They've clarified that. They haven't clarified Sakona. They haven't clarified Calvin Hudson. They haven't clarified any slot granting card in the game. Are you arguing that those cards need a clarification in order to work?
I am saying that there has been a community acceptance that those cards work because that's during the gathering.
Now you're way off base from a rules argument.
And there's also Wharf rulings about those cards because there's the issue of those slots remaining after the game commences. So Wharf has indirectly ruled on them.
Well, I don't.
That's okay. That is the weakest line. That is. I don't even think you're splitting hairs at that point. I think you're like splitting hair follicles or something. Is that how you say that?
It'd be good if they didn't work together. I just don't know what the argument. I'm just wondering what the argument is to say that it doesn't. What I want. You made the argument. What is the justification of the argument when we have other cards that don't say setup or those other steps that do work and are not? They don't work because there are tangential Wharf rulings.
I'm sorry. What's the question?
What's the justification of the argument that Balana's Codes doesn't work?
Oh, so that you cannot remove the time tokens from this to do the damage before the game commences.
Right. So okay. So then the next step was why doesn't Balana's Codes work before the game commences?
Because the cards don't activate until the game begins.
But then when we have cards like Hudson or Sakona, they clearly do. Some cards clearly do.
Okay, all right. So let me. Man, this is weird, because I'm looking at cards that say setup, and there's some weird stuff in here. Like, listen to this. No, I'm serious. Listen to this. At the start of the game, after setup, choose a non-Borg... This is triphasic emitters. Choose a non-Borg weapon upgrade and place it face down beneath this card. I mean, does that mean your opponent gets to see what it is because it's not face down until after setup?
Interesting. Maybe... Maybe without...
Okay, so actually, check this out. Quark says at the start of the game, place one non-Borg card. So clearly there are some card abilities that work prior to setup.
Well, I'm not gonna take the straw man position on this anymore.
Yeah, this is
But,
this whole look.
yeah,
the whole
it-
line of argument
it
is
works.
absolutely absurd. It works. It like the logical knots you need to tie yourself into in order to say this card doesn't work are just mind-boggling.
However, what I've done at my venue, and what I highly suggest everybody do, and what I think Worf is going to do, is just say that you cannot modify those time tokens.
Yeah, I mean that's the clear errata. I'm still not sure this card is entirely fair, even with that. I hate how high variance it is.
I agree, and actually, I think that's why many people who have come and said we've played with it and it's not that powerful. I think it's because they just don't. They haven't had that one bad example that ruins a game for somebody.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I like it.
Of course you like it.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's-
that's
dude,
exactly how Joseph plays this game.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun in the way that Blood Oath is fun.
If you care, first of all, if you care about who wins the game, then you're a bad person. As I've been,
Yeah,
as
it's
we've
real
all
fun,
been,
right?
yeah, we've all been reliably informed of that fact. So, well, it's just great.
That's right. And of course, you can only use this on independent ships because Faction Pure is the best way to play the game. And there's absolutely no way to add independent faction to any ship in the game.
Tucker, it's the only way to play.
Somebody is going
That
to
is
take
why
this.
You can tell
Somebody is going to.
it's 2 a.m. in Canada's time.
Somebody is going to clip that out and take it out of context, and we're going to be hearing about it for years.
Yeah.
Why did we do that? I might edit that. I'm not going to edit that. It's hilarious. Okay,
You
so
should leave it in. So,
ultimately,
go ahead, Tucker.
I'm sick of hearing about this argument. So we could have this argument where I think we're about 2 hours into the recording. Yeah, we're almost 2 hours into recording. We could have this argument for literally hours, days, weeks. It's like
So, Joseph, the real question is this card objectively morally good?
No, it's
I-
not that. That's for sure.
I hate you so much. All right, let's keep. Okay, so I mean,
we're wrapping up with this card.
yeah, and that wraps out the pack. So this is a mandatory buy. The only question is how many do you buy?
Five.
One.
All right,
Somewhere in between those two numbers.
why, Robert? Why one?
Hidden explosives is unique. If you're going to do the alpha strike with the combo of disbursement bombardment, you're really sinking 50 points into this one ship combo to do it. So you're not going to run two.
Okay, Robert. Why five? Not Robert. Joseph. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm getting
Robert,
pretty tired.
Justify 5 if you
I'm-
can.
Yeah.
I'm
I
getting.
probably could. Gorn
Ugh.
Ale, 5 of those
I think 1 is a
on my
reasonable amount.
$5.
The powerful cards are primarily unique, and you are pretty incentivized to buy the other Gorn things you can because fake messages is in the retail pack. So you are
Yeah,
you
so
should
these are still card packs. Yeah.
you should already have a Gorn a
A
Gorn
retail
ship.
Gorn ship.
Yeah.
I could see multiple Gorn Ales. If you're running like a swarm of the
Oh yeah,
Gemini
that's
attack ship.
that's why. Definitely by 5. It's 1 a ship, right? Oh,
Yeah, it's one a ship.
easily 2 points.
Yep.
Do it. That's 15 points for a 6 attack dice Burrell.
No, you have to have captured on there as well.
Oh.
No.
Well,
Why?
no. It's 16 points.
No, it's Ferengi. The Ferengi Burrell. Yeah.
So then it's 15 points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even cost you a slot. I mean, it's a good thing that doesn't cost you slots. It's just sort of optional when you want to trigger it. And with Chemocite on there, that means you could potentially do up to 7 damage with a Burrell.
now you're spending 17 points, though. That's
Yeah, but if you're running a Ferengi Barrel, you're running.
who has that kind of points.
No,
I agree with you. That's
So,
that's
now-
some scary stuff.
Yeah, I just went and looked at my Bajoran interceptor fleet, and I have now decided that a bunch of weird stuff in order to get a bunch of Illan Garrix is not, in fact, as good as just running a bunch of 17-point barrels that can deal 7 damage at a time.
19 points gets you the Ferengi torpedoes, so now they're giving an Ox away, and have a rear arc to fire out of.
No, Gornail's primary weapon only.
No, it
And
increases your...
We don't know how that works. We don't know how it works.
Okay, it could work.
Okay, but they still have. Okay, they have the option of shooting 4. At worst, they have the option of shooting 4 dice and giving an Ox token, or just consider them to be rear arc only. 4
Right,
dice.
that's the other main thing. I think people undersell the power of the Barrels being able to engage, and then do another 5 forward essentially.
Who is underselling?
I think how I see people using the photon torpedoes is to use them first attack photon torpedoes, and I think players need to realize that the photon torpedoes, unless you really need that arc, are your second attack weapon.
Where's that happening? In California?
Some places that are not in your little enclave.
It would never happen here. I'll tell you that right now. But you're right. Everywhere's not like us.
Only better.
Well, I guess Jordan could maybe make that argument, but not many others could.
Yeah. So if you're really looking at competitive play and you're afraid that you're not going to be able to get these, I would maybe get 2 or 3 potentially if you're really trying to protect your builds. Otherwise, just get 1.
I concur.
Cool. All right, and there we have it. That's the card packs. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. So, final thoughts?
Turmoil is actually really kind of interesting, and I hope we get an opportunity to talk about it before most people play it. And Joseph, when are your stores playing it?
I think I'm playing it this Saturday, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
So,
we play it on the 14th.
I heavily campaign to ignore all OP scenarios and just play obstacles. And for the first time in a while, my players rebelled and insisted we play this OP.
So there's
it should be that's a high praise. That's high praise.
Yeah, there's an error in the rules, and I don't know how your store is going to deal with it. The image. So the rules say that you have to place the tokens within 12 inches of the center and within 8 inches of each other. But the descriptive picture indicates that you cannot set them within 8 inches of each other. So your store will have to make a determination of whether or not to follow the descriptive photo or to follow the actual words written. If you follow the words written, it's actually potentially possible not to be able to place all 4 objective tokens because there's not physical space to place them.
Well, so then I guess do it the other way.
Yeah, but just for anyone listening that hasn't run it, just sort of run that by your store. I highly, highly recommend going with the way that they're not within 8 inches of one another because I think it makes it a much more interesting OP. Food for thought. Those are my final thoughts.
I have no final thoughts. I left it all out on the field.
I do want to, I guess, going back to that, I do want to talk about that on one of our upcoming shows and maybe even play a game of that with Joseph.
I cede my final thoughts to the counselor from California. Go ahead, Robert.
Is that a thing?
I have no more to say.
Great. Let's call it then. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. By the way, sorry this episode is a little late. It was the Easter holiday, which I don't observe, but other people do. So, yeah, good talk. Feel free to shoot us a message on Facebook. Let us know your thoughts. Perhaps not about hidden explosives, since that's been talked to death, but anything else.
I want to hear about hidden explosives.
No, we don't.
What card is that? Did we talk about it tonight?
Anyway.
Man, that setup phase, so confusing.
The conversation is just beginning.
You can
join
like
us
us
in the Hour
on iTunes or on Facebook, and follow us on iTunes and Last.fm or Player.fm and a bunch of other podcasting apps that automatically scrape it, apparently, which I didn't know was a thing. Anyway, leave us reviews, write us messages. We'll see you next time, but for now, dials down and make you be generous with your dice. State of the Federation is a non-profit, fan-based production of Tucker Kobe, Joseph Van Der Yacht, and Robert Fletcher. Editing by Tucker Kobe. State of the Federation original concept by Will Sanchez. Star Trek Attack Wing, the flight path system, and all other properties mentioned are owned by their respective rights holders.